Hey everybody, Ryan here. Alright, as you can see I have 4 that I'm going to be doing today. This will be the first one for today. I'm going to be doing the Carolina Hurricanes season preview. Oh, why am I not? There we go. That looks better. Yeah, Carolina Hurricanes season preview. Alright. So here's who they added this season. They added Jesper Fast, 3-year, $2 million per. Honestly, I think that's going to be a good, solid third-line scorer for him. I mean, he can add some offense. He's not going to blow you out of the waters, but he can easily add at least 10 goals, 10 assists, probably 20 to 30 points. So good addition. Not a bad one. Joakim Ryan, 1 year, $700,000. Decent 7th defender, extra guy. Jeremy Bracco, 1 year, $700,000. He's supposedly, with Toronto, he was supposedly one of the guys that were shopping the trade. One young forward they were shopping a trade, and they just let him go. So maybe he's not as good as they had tried to push him last year, so we'll see. But 1 year, $700,000. Never heard of this guy, Sheldon Rempal, 1 year, $700,000. So he's going to be like a minor leaguer, is my guess, or taxi squad, something like that. Antoine Bibeau, bounce around backup minor league goalie, 1 year, $700,000. And Drew Shore returns from playing over in, I can't remember if it was Europe or Russia, but 1 year, $700,000. Former LA King there. So here's who they lost. They lost Justin Williams. He retired, so, I mean, he solid guy and very helpful in the playoffs, but last year he just looked like he was not capable of catching up or sticking with the young guys anymore, so he called it quits. Mr. Game 7 is his nickname because he's I think the highest scoring Game 7 guy in history of the NHL, so, or if not, he's one of the top ones. They lost Anton Forsberg to Edmonton. Not a huge loss by any stretch. Trevor Van Riemsdyk to Washington. He was a solid defender for him, so I was kind of surprised they didn't offer him something, but he went to Washington. Colin Booth went to Boston. Nothing big there. Sami Vatanen still a free agent. We'll see where he ends up. I'm sure he'll sign sometime next week or so. Brian Gibbons is a free agent. That's not a huge loss by any stretch. I don't even know if he actually played for him last year. Joel Edmondson is probably one of the bigger losses they had. He was a really good defender for St. Louis when they won 2 seasons ago. And he was a solid defender for him last year, so that one's probably going to hurt a bit. But they got some young guys coming up that can probably provide something. Alright, they re-signed Roland McCune, I believe is how you say his name. 1 year, $700,000. He'll probably be a minor leaguer. Warren Fogle, 1 year, $2.15 million. Max McCormick, minor leaguer, 1 year, $700,000. He has NHL experience though, so he could be a call-up if they needed him. Hayden Fleury, they re-signed to a 2 year, $1.3 million deal. So that's one of those guys who could probably take over for Edmondson. So I don't know if he'll be as experienced or as good as Edmondson, but he can provide something that Edmondson provided in the physicality. Alright, projected cap hit for this year, that $80.5 million basically. So a projected cap space is just under $1 million. So not able to add a whole lot at this point. They definitely could not bring back Vatanen without getting rid of somebody. Now that Vatanen was worth the trade they made, because I don't think he ever actually played a game for him. Or then maybe in like a play-in round last year, but that was the only possible time he may have played. So here's where the forwards sit contract-wise. You got Dzingel, who will probably not be re-signed after this year. He's a UFA. Brock McGinn, maybe they'll re-sign him. Martin Nook, I can see them re-signing. He's a UFA as well. Drew Shore, UFA. They could probably keep him at a cheap price if they wanted to. You got Warren Fogle, who's an RFA with arbitration rights, it looks like, after this season. So he may want more. We'll have to see what he does this year. And then the big one that's going to cost them a lot this offseason is Andrei Svechnikov. He is going to be an RFA after this year. My bet is he's probably going to be getting around the 5, probably around these guys, somewhere around there, if not more, like in the 6 to 7. Knowing Russian players, he's probably going to be asking for like the $8 million, but I don't think they can afford that, even with letting go of Dzingel and McGinn and Martinook, because then they'd have no room for anybody else, really, with the cap being static, not going up, not going down, but not going up. And they also have Dougie Hamilton, who's a UFA after this year. So if they want to keep him, they're going to have to pay more than 5.75 is my guess. But with the way the cap situation is, you might be able to sign these guys for like 1-year deals. And then I believe it was 2 years they're going to keep the cap static. So after that, I mean, you may see a 1-year deal for Hamilton where like Svechnikov may be more. But if he wants more, then may have him sign like a 1-year lower one. But we'll see how it works out because you're seeing a lot of these like the 1 year $700,000 for the veterans. I can almost guarantee you they're going to let Reimer go after this year. There's no way they keep someone like Reimer, who I am honestly surprised is only 32. I thought he was older than that. So, I mean, right now their goaltending is okay. I mean, you got Mrazek, who can show flashes of greatness and then show flashes of looks like Martin Jones in net. But sorry to Sharks fans out there, but Martin Jones has just been awful the last couple of years. And he's the sign of greatness to mediocrity pretty quickly. Alright, you got buyout history. They're still paying Alexander Semin for this season, $2.333333. So, and then Patrick Marleau, $0. Don't know why he's on the list that they're paying $0, but that's what they're paying. Alright, they're non-roster forwards. I mean, you could see someone like Ryan Suzuki possibly making the team this year. With no juniors, I mean, why not give him a shot? Who knows? I mean, if he's anything like his brother, his brother came in and just looked amazing for Montreal last year. So, I mean, they got Dominic Bach, that's down there. Let's see. Bracco might get a shot, who knows? Clark Bishop can plug in for him. He's played a few games during the years. RFA-wise, they got Matthews, Geeky, Cotton, Bracco, Rempel, Bishop. UFA-wise, David Gust, and Max McCormick. So they have a bunch of guys that can re-sign, but I don't see any of them being super expensive or anything like that unless they have an amazingly good season. And then that's the one that I think Jake Bean is probably going to be playing for him this year. That guy had an amazing year last year in the AHL. So I find it hard to believe he will not be up on the main team this year somehow at some point. He's an RFA, and I mean, if he doesn't play in the NHL, he may just get re-signed for something cheap like this. Maybe like $1 million one-way contract to start. But if he has a great year, could be more. Could be like in the $2.5 to $3 million range. If he can provide the offense, it looks like he may be able to. You got Roland McCune and Gustav Forsling down there as well. Will be RFAs next year. They still have to sign Oliver Kasky. He's an RFA currently still, but he's not going to be expensive and probably won't play in the NHL, so no big deal. All these three goalies right down here are all UFA or RFA after this season, so I don't see any standout goaltending prospects for them. But who knows? Maybe there's one that can change the mind. So this is how the Carolina Hurricanes 2020 draft went. They got Seth Jarvis, number 13. I honestly think if that guy is as good as he looks like he's going to be, Toronto made a huge mistake trading that first-round pick for just them taking Marleau's contract. I think that was a terrible trade, personally. But that's just me. They got Noel Gunler, number 41, another what looks like could be a possibly good offensive player. Vasily Ponomarev, something like that, 53. Alexander Nikishin, number 69. Zion Nybeck, number 115. I believe he was another guy that dropped in this draft that was supposed to be up higher. But he dropped down here, and that could be a steal as well. He could be a good offense. I mean, they could possibly have 3 really good offensive prospects out of this. Lucas McCurry is center, number 159. At number 199, Alexander Pashin, who can play all 3 forward spots. And number 208, Ronan Seeley at defense. This is what their draft picks look like for the next 3 years. Next season, all their first 4, they had no 5th round pick. They had their 6th, and they had their own LA and St. Louis's 7th round picks. So they had 3 7th round picks. So it's not bad. They chances of a 7th round pick ending up being good is extremely low, but hey, you have 3 times the chance. What the heck, right? Alright, so here's what their lines will look like. I mean, I don't believe they have any injuries. No, they do not. I mean, first line looks just absolutely deadly. You got Svechnikov. Sorry, that one's still a little tough one to say sometimes. He could possibly, if he continues developing the way he did like he last 2 years, as long as he doesn't try to fight Alexander Ovechkin again, he should have an amazingly good offensive year and continue to develop into a great player. Although you're gonna get probably it's a shortened season, but you could still possibly see 60 points out of him this year. Teravainen's going to be an amazingly solid forward, you know that. I mean, he's only 26. I mean, that line right there, 20, 23, and 26. And that is a very good first line already. So, I did not mean to go there. Sorry. Second line, you got Dzingel, who had a very off year last year for him. Trocheck, they got from Florida at the trade deadline. He hopefully will have a better year than he had last year. Niederreiter, same thing. He had an off year last year. So that second line could be a redemption line. Maybe all make themselves look better. Then you got Warren Foegele playing with Jordan Stahl and Jesper Fast, which I think could be a pretty solid third line defensively and can contribute offensively. Fourth line looks like they'll have Brock McGinn, Jordan Martinook, and Martin Necas. I think it's how you say it, or Necas. I can't remember. Tell me how in the comments, please, because I'm not good with that one. His kind of throws me off. But honestly, he could play higher. Honestly, I could see Dzingel being knocked down to that line. Same with Niederreiter. I mean, both of them, I think, played fourth line for him last year at points, if not most of the year. And he's supposed to be one really good prospect, so he may play higher. And who knows, Seth Jarvis might even make the team this year and play higher too. Looks like defense, you got Jacob Slavin and Dougie Hamilton. That's a solid D pair because Slavin can cover the defensive side and Hamilton is better at the offensive side. So they're good offset there. Brady Shea, who they got, I'm still surprised the Rangers traded him there. I mean, the only reason I could see is he was going to get too expensive for him, which makes sense. I mean, he's 5.25 through 2024. And Brett Pesce, who had a very good year last year, and he's not same term, just cheaper. Jake Gardner, they're still trying to get rid of him from what I understand. That was a bad signing on their part. He did not work well with them. He is not meshing well, so they may trade him. They may give up a second or first round for someone to just take him and his contract. Because he's there through 2023 at $4.05 million. Hayden Fleury, good young defender, has some potential. Has quite a bit, actually, from what I understand, but he's 24 now. He's got to get there the next year or so to really prove it. And then, like I said, I think their goaltending is probably their weakest. Mrazek just has not been what everybody expected. He's still a solid goalie. I mean, he could definitely win games sometimes, but he is very, very streaky. James Reimer definitely did not live up to his potential. I mean, he was expected to be like number one for Toronto for years to come, and he just was not that. But he's a solid backup. I mean, he could win some games for you sometimes. I mean, but as Toronto fans will tell you, he can also lose a heck of a lot of games for you as well. Looks like their scratches look like they're going to be Morgan Geekie, Clark Bishop, and Joakim Ryan. That's why I feared Joakim Ryan would be the extra. Clark Bishop makes sense. He can plug in if somebody gets hurt easy enough. So, I know in previous videos I did not have this section, Taxi Squad and Training Camp, but they just added this to Cat Friendly, which, by the way, I got all my screenshots from I got all my screenshots from catfriendly.com, so thank you to them. They provided some amazing coverage of everything cap related and everything team related. So go check them out. Let's see. Their taxi squad, which for this season, that's the guys that are going to be easily sent back and forth. I mean, I don't think the AHL is playing, so these are basically going to be your extras. You got the one that sticks out to me is Jake Bean there. I think he may end up making the team this year and possibly knocking Gardner out or making him a lot more expendable. Training camp, they have listed now 2, which these are guys that can try for a spot, but I don't see anybody really getting a spot there. So they only have one guy listed as in the minors, Stelio Mattheos. So we'll see about that. You got Ryan Suzuki loaned over to Europe right now. Same with Dominic Bach, so they could come back and make the team possibly too. You got Seth Jarvis, Noel Gunler. I'm going to guess since Gunler is Swedish, he's probably playing in the Swedish league already and probably isn't going to be ready this year. Same with Zion Nybeck. I mean, they got quite a few guys here, and you'll see when I get to the top prospects, you'll see a few of their names there. Oh, right there. There's the top prospects. Seth Jarvis had 98 points in 58 WHL games. Pretty solid. Jake Bean, 48 points in 59 AHL games for a defender. That's definitely going to get you a look, and I think he's going to get a look this year with a big club. Ryan Suzuki, 58 points in 44 OHL games. He's probably not as offensively talented as his brother, but he still can provide some offense and looks like he's going to be a solid two-way player. If he develops the way he looks. That's the big thing. Dominic Bach, they got him in a trade, I forget with who. But he has 17 points in 45 SHL games, which anybody who knows the Swedish league, 17 points is pretty dang good, honestly, for a young kid. Jamison Reese, 61 points in 39 OHL games. So those are top 5. Those ones I got from NHL.com. That's what they listed are 31 and 30. But that's who they have. And then these are other ones I found in our top 10s. Anthony Honka, Patrick Puistula, I believe so I say it, left or right wing. There's one goalie, Pyotr Kochetkov, I believe so I say it. I could be wrong. Russian names can be tough. Joey Keane, a defender. So those were actual ones I saw. Alright, and then I think they're probably going to be middle-range team because they got a solid defense, really good defense, but most of them are good at the offensive portion. They're going to let some goals in, I believe, and their goaltending can be pretty suspect at times. So I think they need to upgrade that goaltending. If they had a better goaltender, I think they could be a top-tier team. I mean, I do think that they'll finish middle at the top in their division because, I mean, they got Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, and Tampa there. Now, honestly, Tampa's probably going to be the top team. Even with the injuries they have, they're still probably going to be the top team. Dallas is going to be up there, which is funny that Dallas and Tampa are in the same division since they played each other in the finals last year, so that's going to be interesting. Nashville, I think, will be mediocre. Florida, no matter how many times you pick them to be a really good team, they always just fail you. No offense to Florida fans, they just find a way to fail. So I think they're going to be bottom. Detroit's definitely going to be the bottom team. Chicago's going to be towards the bottom. Columbus is going to be that mid-range team as well. So I think Carolina's probably going to be... They could be like 3rd to 5th best in that division. Somewhere in there is where I think they're going to finish. So that's what I think about Carolina's year. I think they're a solid team. I just think they need something more in the goal because I don't think Mrazek can pull them all the way to the finals and win it. I mean, unless he is 28, so he could reach his prime this year and really just wow everybody, which I think Detroit was waiting for forever and it just never happened. So hopefully it does. I mean, I wish him the best. I do. I wish everyone the best, but we'll see. Like I said, they could finish. I think his best is second because Dallas is more of a playoff team than a regular season team. So at Nashville, you just don't know what you're going to get. So that's where I think Carolina's going to be. So hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you to everybody who watched, liked, and subscribed in the last video. Thank you all my subscribers. Make sure you keep watching. I'll have every team done before the 13th when the first games are played. It may be like 4 videos a day, just warn everybody. So keep an eye out. Hit that notification bell, and then you can be notified whenever a new video drops, which this is going to be the first of 4 today. So keep an eye out. And make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Share, comment, like, and I will see you next video, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Happy Boxing Day to Canadian fans out there. And I will see you all next video. Bye, everybody.